Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Your video is about to start. I wanted to remind you of our newer Wednesday, 1 p.m. live stream Q&A on all things Social Security. Visitors are welcome to post a question in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer it. It's on a first come, first serve basis, so please get there on time. Otherwise, if you care to be a member and get some different kinds of perks, feel free to click the join button below or just click it to learn about them. Anyway, I hope to see you Wednesday. If not, enjoy the video. Bye now. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Stephanie Joy with All Things Social Security and the owner of Joy Disability. Okay, let's talk about NAPS. NAPS, rests, kind of all in the same boat. Really, 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 really important if you are someone who needs to take a nap during the day. You cannot get through a basic 8-hour day at home without taking a little snooze. It could be a snooze because you are fatigued. And if you have something like chronic fatigue syndrome, I suggest you really expound on your needs to nap. Sometimes we rest because of pain. So we have to get more supine. Oftentimes I see it's in a recliner because somehow the way your body is tilted, and this isn't for everybody, but a lot of time that is best for people, as opposed to flat on their back in bed or on a couch without a lot of support. But it's super, super important. And I want to talk about function report numbers 5 and 6. 5 generally concerns what about your impairments affects your ability to work. And I know a lot of people focus on just the ones that affected their old job, but I think you need to be a little bit more comprehensive than that. Number 6 is about what you do from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. So let's start with number 5. Depending on how much time we have, we might have to do 6 in another one, but I'll just make it a part 2. So if you do take naps, and I mean, so many people take at least one, and oftentimes it's up to an hour. Some people are shorter, sometimes it's a half hour. Sometimes people do multiple ones, like they do one by 10, but then they need another one by 2. Everyone's different, but it's something you're going to want to track and document and talk to your doctor about the fatigue and tell them exactly how much napping you need to do to be able to get up and do the next part of your day. So in order to function in the evening, maybe to help make dinner, if you're helping make dinner, or just greeting the kids when they come home from school, that kind of thing. So number 5, again, about how it affects your work. When we have to take a nap, we're going to be off task from an 8-hour day, right? And therefore, an 8-hour day of work is now more like a 6-hour day or a 5-hour day, depending on, if you're taking a robust 2-hour nap in the afternoon, you're down to, 5, 6-hour day of actual working. So that is where it interrupts and creates a non-full-time work capability. This is what I'm talking about now with number 5 and number 6 is completely different than talking about how you get proof of this besides what you say. That is a whole nother challenge. And I think it's got to be, it generally has to be something if you have it and you know the diagnosis and it's been discussed with your doctor that the diagnoses, this is just a very, very typical symptom. That's helpful. Sometimes we're fatigued and we don't know why. Then I really think you need to go and address it specifically as an impairment. Talk to your doctor, maybe go to a chronic fatigue specialist. But if it is from something that you already have, let's say you had cancer treatments and they leave you easily fatigued some people it's for the rest of their life. I mean, it's done something to something to something in our energy storages or however that works, that just leaves us with a constitution that gets very fatigued very, very fast. If it is something that you know what it's from, that you're treating for, or following for because the actual problem is not, there's no more treatments, it's just a following, you need to zing home. Communicate, communicate, communicate with every visit, in between visits, talk to your doctor, message him through the portal if he has one. Otherwise, send him a fax. This fatigue, is there something else we can do? Can you refer me to a specialist? Because it's leaving my days with very few waking hours where I can actually function. When I'm awake, I'm like a zombie or whatever it is. And I have to nap, you know, 2, 3, 4 hours a day. So I get 4 hours of being awake and in the world. Everyone's so specifically different, but that's getting a doctor that actually studies up on fatigue is big. And we see a lot of this with post-COVID and post-vaccine goings on nowadays. There's a lot of fatigue going on. COVID virus really brought it to a head, finally got at the recognition that post-viral syndromes tend to do. I've had chronic fatigue um, post-viral clients for at least the last 15 years before COVID. And nobody would pay attention to it because it's all in their head. Yeah. And now that COVID has brought it to the forefront, now they're like, oh, yeah, you know, viruses can cause long-term blah, blah, blah. But nobody was buying it before. And it made no sense because I saw it all over the place. I knew it was so. I saw it in records all over the place. But they're not getting credit and they weren't winning on those. It is a little bit of a different story now, but you need to document, you can journal when you go to take a nap every day and for how long, how often, maybe do it twice, maybe do it once, maybe do it 3 times. Maybe you then still have to go to bed at 6:30 at night. So number 5, when you're talking about what stops you or affects your ability to work, I would say I require a nap, you know, this amount of time at this time of day and this amount, or for a 2 naps, which total a total of about blah 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 amount of time. Uh, in a typical day, I need to nap. I need to completely nap. If it's something more about resting and not sleeping, which is often the case too, because people do have sleep problems too. Um, it could still be a great fatigue thing. You're just not necessarily zoning off and getting into your REM sleep. I would definitely bring it up. I would put it in, if you need to rest, close your eyes, I would be putting that down as a nap and that you need to do it. And then you need to have the backup with your doctors. Um, Obviously, don't tell them, please back me up. I'm telling disability I have to take a nap because you're going to have a lot of biased medical professionals that don't want you to be winning a disability claim. So, instead, you report to them what your problems are and what can we do about this medically so I can have an improved quality of life where I'm not sleeping so much and then fatigued the time I'm not even sleeping. Fatigued where I feel like I'm in a brain fog. I don't feel like I can really, you know, focus on something enough to do it trustworthily. Let's say it's balancing bills or making sure I get to my appointments. I have a friend remind me. I use these reminders because, with my brain fog and fatigue, I could nap through something, whatever the case may be. But really, really important to put it in number 5. I know with my data gathering with my clients, we actually ask them definitely all the questions that the function report is going to have. But we also ask other questions because the function report doesn't ask you about napping, but it asks you in number 5, what kind of issues do you have that would affect your ability to work? And people don't remember to say napping. They leave it out all the time. So we ask about it, and then I go insert it in my assistance of helping them draft their number 5. And I pointed out to them that, you remember you said over here that you need to nap. So I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be working while you're napping, right? Um, and then, yeah. And again, the same thing, like there is napping, and then there's also reclining to avoid pain or to reduce swelling, edema in feet, legs, knees. There's a variety. A lot of times the reclining can be because they have a bad neck. So it's not necessarily like lower back, which it can be and often is, but also our necks hold up our heads. And if we have an impaired cervical spine or other problem that deals with our shoulders and our neck, it really it really can be impactful, just being in an upright position. Sitting up and standing up can really cause people to have more of this pain because they're holding up their noggin. Um, and some people go and they rest to get the pressure off of that body part by, and again, I see mostly recliners. Um, in fact, if any of you don't have a recliner and you need one, consider getting one. I know they cost money, but you can look at sales and stuff. I think it can really help people kind of escape the pain for a little bit versus unless the bed's working out fine. I don't find couches to be very good. Maybe because they don't have support. Like a bed has better support, recliners have better support. Um, anyway, whichever way it works for you, but do not forget that in your question number 5. And I think we should probably do question number 6. I'll do it in a follow-up video because I don't like these going on too long. People will start to zone out. That fatigue will get to you and the monotony of my voice. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys because people leave it out all the time and it is uber important. I'll talk to you later. Bye.